People, deluded, I'm back again. Now, in relation to Arteta, I'm sure you've all seen, we've been in, he's mentioned that, the Arsenal players have support in relation to their mental health and have been speaking to psychiatrists, not because they're in any issues, but simply because, it's a delicate time in the world. Obviously, being at home alone for some players, especially the young ones, can be lonely. And plus, in general, prior to this or not, we don't know what people are going through. We don't know, we never know. And especially footballers that are in the spotlight, it's good. But Arteta has said, we have a psychologist who is looking after the players and is always in constant communication with them. But as well, we're having feedback from different people and we're consistently sending information and videos and keeping them busy. So again, we're trying our best to look after the mental well-being of everybody. And as well as that, keeping them close to their job and close to the people related to their job, which is us and my coaching staff. But we've been having some really good conversations. This time has been really helpful on my side, at least to get to know the players better. And we are trying to improve our relationship, our communication and understanding between us. So that's nice, people. Obviously, you've got a bag of 23 players, 25, whatever, 26 players. Not everybody thinks the same. Not everybody reacts the same. And management is you could say it's almost more important than tactics in today's day and age. Obviously, tactical things are good, but it's no longer an iron fist. And you've got different personalities. And it's about understanding that and taking every opportunity to understand that. How does his brain think? How does he learn? Does he learn better visually? Does he learn better when there's information? Aubameyang, you might be able to shout at Aubameyang and he takes it on the chin and he gets motivated. You might tell Guendouzi that and he gets motivated, but you might do that to Bellerin and Bellerin might cry. You might need to put arm around Bellerin to get the best out of him. So the more Arteta and the coaching staff can do to understand their players as humans, the better they will be as players and whatnot. And this helps build togetherness, because obviously when you've got that bond, you're going to fight for each other a bit more. You look at George Weah, he said for Arsene Wenger he'd break his nose, break his leg, break everything because of the love he had. Eto'o said he would not play under no other manager would he play on the wing apart from Jose, because he's got that relation with Jose. So if Arteta can do these things, it's good. And Arteta's already developed that because he's brought Mustafi back and put faith in him. For me, the biggest example is probably Xhaka. Pet project for him seems to be Nelson, and put the arm around him seems to be Reece Nelson. Do you get it, my guys? So I think that's what I like to see. Moving on, he said, we have a lot of meetings to try and plan the season. We might have 2 or 3 different scenarios and we have to be prepared for them. So, of course, people, again, that could be transfers, that could be tactics, that could just be how the team moves going forward with the league if it does come back. He said, I'm not a person that likes improvising a lot. So, yeah, we have to know the circumstances and can adapt every week. And we have to be prepared as a club to react and adapt. Now, I know he said react, but what I like from that is Arteta wants to be proactive. We'll never be able to promise or plan for everything, but if we have some sort of plan or we're thinking about it, it's the landing's going to be softer. So he's been proactive. Okay, if this happens as a result of Corona, what happens? Okay, this has happened, this is that. And we're ready to move in either direction. If the league gets cancelled, okay, whatever. If the league is back on, cool. If you've got 4 weeks to have a little mini pre-season before the league starts, cool. We're ready to react, people. How's the market going to react? I know this isn't exactly Arteta's remit, but you get the point. He doesn't like to improvise, and that's promising for me. He said, we've had some time to review what we have done well and the things we have to improve as a team and as coaching staff as well, and have a big reflection on all departments we have across the club, how they are feeling as well, what we are doing, how we have set up as a club, if they have any ideas for us to improve, and we are more than happy to help. We are more than welcome to help them, or how their workload can be better. So when we make sure when we're back, we don't know in which condition, how long we're going to have, we make sure we hit the ground running. Which is decent, people. Completely off topic, but I want to shout out to Mustafi because he has partnered with the Football Foundation and Islington Council to provide over 16,000 meals and other emergency supplies to people within the Islington community. A great gesture, without a doubt. Mustafi, again, just because he's done that doesn't mean you can't talk about his footballing ability, but that's you got to love that, because it's lovely for Mustafi. You've heard Mustafi, his mental health has kind of taken a hit with social media, but he's still, and again, it's not the same. He's still doing a lot. And let's be honest, 16,000, there are probably certain people that are going to be beneficial of that probably didn't have nice things to say about Mustafi. So I'm not saying that should be praised, but from a human point of view, I love that from Mustafi. And again, I don't know Mustafi, but what I see is that, and again, it annoys me, especially when when I see, you know, let me not get into it, but you know, people that follow the Islam faith and, you know, are Muslim and stuff, you see in today's day and age, they're witch hunted, they're demonized, they're things. Listen, there's bad Christians, there's bad Muslims, there's bad everybody, there's bad religious leaders that use the guide of religion for nonsense. The Muslims that I know and grew up with, they've shown nothing but love. They're some of the most kind-hearted people I know, and things like that, people. And you get the vibe from Mustafi. He's very big on faith. You go and he's always praying and things like that, and whatnot. And when you see what him and Mane and people are doing, it fills me with joy. But from a human point of view, it's lovely to see that from Mustafi, because he's obviously in a position to do that, people. Away from that though, and I was on The Athletic before I made this vid, and I saw an interview with Lauren, and there was a couple of things. He spoke about trying to get his pro license, spoke about why it took so long to do the management thing, a couple of other thoughts and whatnot. Spoke about, you know, doing coaching badges, and found out Torres is doing his coaching badges. Spoke about how he can, you know, do things differently, and spoke about his upbringing. But the bits I liked, he spoke about Thierry Henry. They played a Champions League game in Spain, and more or less he was ready to smash Thierry Henry, and he said, obviously this was against Deportivo La Coruña. He more or less, long story short, it was a poor pass to Henry, and Henry done a hand gesture, and he said, I said to myself, what are you doing that for? He said, well, he more or less, he lost it, people. He said, I said to myself, what are you doing that for? In Spain, where I grew up, and all my family and all my friends watching him, he's raising his hands. I thought, this guy doesn't know me. I'm very quiet and humble, but if you switch the wrong button, I don't mind to face anyone. I just went mad. And that's one thing we love about Lauren. He was a humble beast. He respected everyone. He took disrespect from no one. He was ready to ride for his team. And, you know, he was more or less calmed down by coaching staff from thumping Henry. And to be honest, Henry probably would have thumped him back, and it would have been lovely, really, to hear about. And that's the sort of thing I think we miss as a team. He said, I waited for everyone to come inside the dressing room, and when Thierry came in, I took his bottle and threw it at him and smashed the mirror. I nearly broke the dressing room. I wanted to smash him, but I didn't do it because we wouldn't win without Thierry, of course. And he said Vic Akers, who's the kit man at the time, tried to calm him down, only to be greeted with a tirade of Spanish swearing. And he said, I was screaming at everyone to shut up. It was hushed in there like a cemetery. Everyone was surprised. Why is this guy doing this to Thierry Henry? We're all competitive players with ambition. And that's what I like to see, man. To be honest, like, respect everyone, but, you know, don't take disrespect from no one. And especially for young players, don't be disrespectful. But I do think when I see a lot of young players, because they're kind of scared of the experienced players, it can harm them. Like, I'm not going to name it, but there was one individual in the Premier League. He was one-on-one with the keeper. He squared it to the experienced player, and I could see why he done it, because he's scared that the experienced player is going to get onto him. At a point, you need to get to the point and be like, yo, fuck off. This is what I'm doing. This is what I'm on. And Saka and Martinelli are going to get to that. They're going to say, Aubameyang, Laka, move from this. It don't matter what you lot on. I want this. Do you get? And football is way more psychological than people take. And again, I know I focused on young players with that environment, with that example. But yeah, man. You know, he spoke on his coaching thing. He spoke on Wenger. He said Wenger had the knowledge to control all different characters and all mentalities without breaking the dressing room down. It was very intelligent. He could control all the big egos. He knows about football. He gives you what you need in every moment. The manager has to know how and when to do things, when to talk, in order for players to fight together for one goal. Wenger was very good at expressing his ideas to convince you to do this or that. We all have something from Wenger. Dennis, Patrick, Henry, because it was a masterclass in everything, in psychology, in tactical situations, how to put your body in a certain position to win the ball, how to pass the ball at the right moment. And obviously it's no coincidence, people, that you're seeing many of the Invincibles, Colo, Sol, Ashley Cole, Vieira, Lundberg, Thierry, Bergkamp, maybe even many more, are now taking their steps in relation to coaching people. And he spoke about that. He spoke about a lot. I'm not going to bore you with it, but he spoke about how, you know, his coaching journeys. He spoke about how, when, you know, one thing I liked about him, when he's talking about when they were celebrating winning the league, he said, we went to celebrate together with our families and teammates. I finished the party, I went home, and that was it for me. I didn't enjoy it too much because I was thinking of the next challenge. How can I be better? How can I improve? How can I help the team more? I was that kind of professional. So when I retired, my first thing is I want to enjoy my life now. I'm going to party with friends. Now I'm going to go traveling, take my kids around the world. And he actually gave an interest. Obviously, he grew, you know, his family had to move to Spain and whatnot, and his family have had to deal with a lot of adversity. And I'm not going to bore you with it, but he spoke on, I think, interesting. He said he doesn't take his kids to luxury resorts. He takes them to live, you know, not like poverty, but see how things are. Like they stayed in the bush when they was in Zanzibar, people. And that's a very good experience and teaches humbleness, people, really and truly. And yeah, man, as you know, his father was a political refugee from Guinea. They relocated in Cameroon, obviously where Lauren was born. And obviously they spent time in Spain as he was a toddler. And he said, and I've got to big up his dad because, I mean, you know, as a descendant of immigrants myself, it takes a lot of courage to do things like that. He said, when I was a kid, my father was always on top of us. He had a high level of culture. He studied, read a lot of books, a clever man. He used to say that life would be more competitive when you get older. He was right. But when I was a kid, I didn't care. I just wanted to play football, morning until night, and find a way to make money. In the south of Spain, 35 years ago, it wasn't the same as you see today. People from the streets had to survive and had to find a way to have their own things. My father never wanted me to play football. He didn't like it. All my brothers went to university and some are doctors and do other high-standing work in society. When I played football, he was proud, but he didn't express it. He's one of those old-fashioned people. And obviously, Lauren also said he decided to enroll as a mature student. He said, after 3 or 4 years enjoying myself once I retired, I went to Seville University to study business administration. I wanted to keep my mind busy. It was a fantastic one of the best experiences I've ever had for 3 years. The city, young people, the way they studied, the teachers were fantastic. I don't want to stop learning. University gives you so many tools to use in your own life. He did also speak about Unai Emery, which I was also not going to copy and paste. He said in relation to Emery, he said, the psychology of art... Sorry, people. He said he would have got more power inside the dressing room, more power within the club to insist on certain players, but he didn't win the Europa League and qualify for the Champions League, so they decided to change again. Emery's ideas, the use of so much video and so on, if at some point you don't have success and don't win things, the players decide they don't like this guy. The psychology of Arteta has more parallelism with Wenger than Emery had. He tries to pass the ball, to open the game up in the last third. Triangles in every department, so there are always options. We have to give time to Arteta. He has fantastic ideas and learn from the best in Pep Guardiola. And he also spoke generally about coaching. He said, Wenger used to say intelligent players find a solution on the pitch, which again is Wenger's biggest gift and curse, people, because I believe that you shouldn't always have to tell, you should promote active thinking. And I think that helped players when they were of Lauren's ilk and they had to think for themselves and they took credibility. I do think players aren't as, I don't want to say aren't as intelligent, but I don't think they think as much. I think they look for more solutions from management. And I think that's why you always see Conte, Klopp, Pep, everybody's praised for shouting on the sideline, people, because players don't have to be active thinkers as much these days. So yeah, man. But nowadays, of course, everyone has more information and the players are softer because so much is done for them. Exactly. You have to convince the players about your ideas, but everyone knows about football. Take one player. His lawyer knows about football. His agent knows about football. His medical trainer knows about football. His accountant knows about football. His housekeeper knows about football. There are 10 people surrounding players, and if you don't have that kind of connection with players, that they admire you and you can convince them of your ideas, players now smell blood. It's like a big cat spots a little bit of blood and they will eat you, which is 100% facts. 110% facts. On that note, though, that's all I've got to say, so I'm going to get out of it. People, it's always a pleasure. DG.